All right, I did it. I jumped on the YouTube artist bandwagon and I ordered from Wish. Hi, Shanna Rowe Jackson here from Caution R Stat Play, and today we are taking a look at what I got from Wish. So if you don't know what Wish is, Wish.com is a website that has a lot of different kinds of products, and they're usually dirt cheap, and they ship directly from China, which is one reason why they're able to get it dirt cheap. I'm obviously not an expert on the website. This is my first time ordering from it. This video was not sponsored in any way. So obviously I follow other artists on YouTube, and I've seen a lot of artists order things from Wish, and I just thought it was kind of fun. I didn't go overboard. I only got like 5 things, and one of them isn't even art related. But I wanted to show you what I got, and then after this I will probably switch to time-lapse and create a piece with it. So the first thing that I'm most excited about is the actual like main thing that we'll be doing the artwork with. And that is some Faber-Castell watercolors. And there's not really much information on them, at least not information that I can understand, because I can only read English, so I'm not bilingual, unfortunately. However, it's pretty exciting. I don't know. I had never heard of Faber-Castell watercolors before. I've seen their watercolor pencils, never seen their watercolors. So I have no idea if these are, I don't know, if they're student grade or anything. If anybody has any more information, please put it in the comments below, because I'm not sure about these. I couldn't find it on the Faber-Castell website either. Anyways, 48 colors. Let's take a look at this bad boy. Oh, that's pretty cool. So it has some information here. Again, it's information that I can't really, I can't read, but I'm sure it's useful information. And here they are. They kind of have a weird smell. These colors are fun though. I can't wait to try them out. And it comes with a water brush and a little sponge. It's a lot of colors. I like this color. Oh, these are going to be fun to try. So this is what we'll be painting with mainly. I have no idea what I'm going to be painting with them, but I had to get these. I think I got them for like 30 something. I can't remember. Probably cheaper than that. It's been so long since I ordered from the site because it takes so long to get here that I honestly don't remember what I spent on anything. But I will try and link all the items in the description below. Of course, the prices may have changed on Wish already, but it should give you somewhat of an idea of a roundabout price of what I spent on each thing. So I wasn't sure about the water brush that comes with it, so I also got this brush, which I think I only spent like $1 or $2 on. And so I figured it would just be fun to try out. I'm honestly puzzled by it. Hang on. Sorry for the noise. So this is what it looks like. Again, there's some writing that I don't understand. Well, this is interesting. I don't know what this does. Am I supposed to fill it with... I'm so confused right now. Well, hopefully I'll figure out what this does. Okay, well, trial and error, we'll figure out what it does. It's kind of fun to play with anyway. Excuse my total ignorance, because I've never used a brush like this, so I don't know why it does that. Anyways, moving on. The next thing that I got is more brushes. I got these because the looks of them remind me of the Simply Simmons brushes, which are one of my all-time favorite brushes, but as you can see, I don't know if it'll focus there. These two brushes are already frayed. This one's little cap fell off and is like right here. I mean, it has come a long way, but that's unfortunate because the smaller brushes are already frayed. So wish me luck on working with these. I don't know. I don't think they're bad, though. I don't usually buy very expensive brushes anyways, and I think I spent maybe $3 on these at the most. It wasn't expensive. The most expensive thing was obviously the watercolor, but I still think it was much cheaper than it would have been had I gotten it anywhere else. And the last thing is kind of artsy because you'll be seeing it with my backdrop when I do intros, and it is some colorful lights. So these should be interesting. I'll get them set up and I'll have to like pop a picture in here or something, see how they look. Hopefully they work and are set up right. And I think I spent maybe $8 on these, but usually like you can't get lights like these for under $20. So I was pretty excited about that. The only other thing that I got was a veggie peeler for my husband, so I didn't bring that on here. But I will say that that veggie peeler works awesome, and you can even spaghetti things like squash and things like that with it, and I was super excited about that. So I'll link that in the description below as well in case you're interested in that. All right, let's see what we can do with these art supplies. I will be back with some sort of time lapse and voiceover mode. See you then. All right, welcome to the voiceover. So after I had filmed the portion where I showed you what I got from Wish, I realized that I hadn't bought any paper from Wish. So I'm just using my watercolor sketchbook. You have probably seen it before in my video that I made recently about India ink. It's just a cold press paper. I tape down the edges of my paper so to protect the other paper in the sketchbook, and I am drawing directly on the paper with my paint. Normally, if I were to do a full finished piece, I wouldn't draw directly on the paper. I would probably draw on a separate piece of paper and transfer it over. But since this is something just in my sketchbook, and I know that these materials may not be archival, I am just going directly into it. This is kind of an abstract painting. Well, it looks abstract at this point, but it's actually of something. It's going to be of leaves because it's fall time here in Maine, and I wanted to do some leaves. So as you can see, I actually just used that water brush, or the watercolor brush. I think it might be an inking brush, calligraphy brush. Honestly, I'm not sure. The one that I struggled so much with in the intro, I did use that to put a light wash down, but it holds so much water that there was barely any pigment, and I thought that I wanted to try my other brushes instead because I wanted to see how pigmented I could get these watercolor paints. And with so much water being used with that other brush, I decided to just set it aside. Also, the bristles were falling out immediately. Like, immediately. Even as I was playing around with it in the intro, I realized that the bristles were falling out. So that brush is one that I don't necessarily recommend. I don't think that that's probably on the higher quality out of all the products that I got here. So right away, I'm going to say I don't recommend that brush. I also noticed that a lot of the things were like glued together, but not very well. You could see the glue very easily. It just wasn't as well put together as the other products that I got here, so you will not see me using that as much. And as a side note, I still never really figured out what it did. So again, if you guys know more about that brush, I haven't really had the chance to research it. It does look like it's some type of calligraphy brush or watercolor brush that would be used for, you know, ink and things like that, but I'm honestly not sure about that brush. So if you know more about that kind of brush, just let me know below, and maybe let me know where I can find higher quality ones and obviously what they're used for. Okay, so that was kind of a ramble about something that I'm not even really using very much in this. So let's get back to talking about the paints and the brushes that I did end up using. I was very pleasantly surprised by these paints. Now, they are Faber-Castell brand. However, this is not a product that I see from them, usually on my usual websites such as Dick Blick or Jerry's Artorama or even Amazon. Most of the American websites I was not able to really find as much about it. I think they probably do sell some on Amazon, but I don't usually see these in the American art store. So I don't know much about these. And again, I couldn't read what the description was on the packaging. So I don't know much about it. It does not appear to have any light fast information though. At least it didn't show anything that looked like it would have a light fast symbol. And I could not find them on the Faber-Castell website. So I don't know if I'm just not looking in the right place, but if you know more about these watercolors, let me know. I don't know any of the pigment information or anything like that. So that being said, these are not materials that I'm going to be using for original artwork that I plan to sell. However, I really do like the way they work, and I am going to probably use them again in my sketchbook because I really, really enjoyed working with them. They were transparent when I needed them to be, but they layered pretty well, and they could actually get pretty dark if I needed them to be. Plus, there's a lot of fun colors, which I didn't even get to fully explore in this picture because this picture tends to be a little bit more on the muted, earthy tone side. So I will probably do a few more pieces in this same sketchbook with these paints. But you'll see me occasionally, I'll come in and I'll lace them down, and you'll see me come in with a blue rag. I wanted to test the lifting. Some of them obviously lift better than others. However, you're going to get that in any set that you get because some colors stain more naturally than others. The one thing that I did notice, however, is that some of them are kind of opaque and they feel a little bit closer to gouache. And I thought that that was kind of interesting. There's like a dark purple that really layered up well, and it felt more like a gouache. I've been working a lot with the Caran d'Ache gouache that I reviewed a while back, and they feel very similar to those gouache pans that I've been using. So a lot of times you'll see me go in and layer, and I had a hard time because this is a very small notebook. I think it's like maybe a 6x8 at the most. And so it was harder to keep some of those details in there and to preserve my whites in certain places, like in the veins of the leaves and things like that. So you'll see me actually go in and lift. Sometimes I'll lift with my brush. Other times I will take a paper blending stump, dip it in water, and lift that way, and I'm able to get finer details. So that's something that I obviously didn't get from Wish and I had laying around, but it's not a very expensive tool. And I use blending stumps a lot for things like that. Sometimes I'll even use it for lifting in oil painting and in other mediums. So, well, probably mostly lifting in oil painting and watercolor because you can't really lift once acrylic is dry. But I use blending stumps a lot for things that are not normally blending techniques. And I got really most of the way through this picture. I actually painted this all in one sitting, which I was really excited about. I had so much fun with it. This is from a reference photo that I took. Excuse me, I think I'm coming down with something, so my throat was kind of sore. This is from a reference photo that I took last fall. And I've just kind of had it in my reference folders on my computer. And when I was looking for something to do, this popped out to me because it's that time of year. And I had a lot of fun with it. Leaves don't have to be perfect. These ones are broken down old leaves. So I had no trouble freehanding right onto the paper because I knew that they didn't have to be perfect in order to come across as leaves. I had a lot of fun in the shadows. So I actually really, really liked these paints. And these brushes were pretty good too. I was a little upset that a few of them were frayed, but they worked really well. And they worked so well that one of them I used pretty much for the whole painting. And then I realized, man, I should probably try out the other brushes in the set since this is a review. And that's when you see me here, like pulling out the brushes and actually using most of them. But you can get a lot of fine lines and different details, even with one of the larger brushes. So I have to say, I'm actually pretty happy with my experience with Wish. This is my first time ordering. I love the paints. As I mentioned, a few are more transparent than others. Some of them feel a little bit more like gouache. But for the most part, the quality is pretty consistent on the paints. The set of brushes I love. They're pretty close to what I usually use. That other brush, I'm going to have to play with it a little bit more. Not a fan of the bristles falling out, so I wouldn't recommend it. Have you ordered from Wish? If so, let me know what you've ordered and if you had a good experience with them. This piece will be available in my print shop, and my print shop is linked in the description below. Thanks for watching. Bye. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you like what you see, please hit subscribe. Also, if you're interested in seeing more of my artwork, I'm on social media, so check out the links in the description below.